Good morning, Munising. Casey Ford live inside the Jamadot Studios for Coffee with Casey right here on AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO on Facebook Live. And, of course, SoundCloud, Spotify, and at WQXO.com. Super excited about today's show as we have Matt Mattson joining us right off the bat, and we'll get to him in just a minute. We're also going to talk to David Pech about coffee and the coffee that's served here at Gallery Coffee Company and how we got involved in the coffee business. And we'll talk to Mary Jayne Hallifax, who is a living legend here in the Munising area. I want to say she was a class of 46, according to Bryce. And I know that she worked for the Munising News, and I know Matt probably has had an interaction with her a time or two. So Mary Jayne Hallifax will join us to end the show right here on AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO and Coffee with Casey. First and foremost, Matt is here because he is not only the head football coach of the Munising Mustang football team, but he's also the girls basketball coach. And there's only a couple times during the year where these two things actually collide. This happens to be one of those times because dead week ends and football begins. And you started off with something very cool this year. And it was that midnight madness, getting in the weight room. We had 17 kids there that were in the gym on Wednesday night, Thursday morning. And that whole 1201 thing still throws me off. But, Coach, welcome back to the program. And talk about going at midnight, 1201 for your kids and ending of dead week and getting back in that weight room.
Yeah, and the weight program started as soon as school was out. So the state requires you to take 7 consecutive days off, and they recommend over the 4th of July, which makes sense. So the dead week officially was July 1st to the July 7th. Well, we always lift Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So felt like we were kind of missing a day of weight. So we decided to come in at 12:01 Thursday morning, midnight, Wednesday evening. And, yeah, we had 18 kids show up, and we threw some brats and hot dogs on the grill, and they worked out for about an hour and 20 minutes. And we ate, had a little post-midnight snack, and sent them home, and it went real well.
Is there a different atmosphere at midnight compared to like 3 o'clock in the weight room?
This is the first time we've done it, and I think they were pretty excited about it. I think they had a good time with it. We kind of went with a circuit training, a little bit different lifts than what we normally do, and we did them all in the gym, and they had to rotate around 10 different stations. So it was a little different lift for them also, so it kind of kept them moving. But, no, I think it went very well, and it was a very good workout.
I honestly feel like you get kind of like stupid funny at like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock when you're going into workout, and you just see it's like a different kind of intensity that's there, and the kids I think are having more fun. And like I got to see the tic-tac-toe game, which you also got to see, and I didn't know tic-tac-toe was such a hard game, Coach.
Yeah, Coach Graves is our trainer. He's a certified trainer, does a great job with our program, but he came up with some warm-up games in tic-tac-toe, and I'm not sure we have the brightest football team because they were struggling with tic-tac-toe. I'm pretty sure we could go to the kindergarten classroom and get a good tic-tac-toe game, but when it involves sprinting and putting things in hula hoops, they did have some issues with it, but it was fun.
Head coach Matt Mattson of the Munising Mustang football team joins us right here, Coffee with Casey, AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO, also on the Rome Media Facebook page, also on YouTube. We'll have this on SoundCloud and Spotify as well as we talk football, but we're also going to talk girls basketball here in a little bit. If you want to get involved, go to the Rome Media Facebook page. You can leave any questions, comments, and we can get them to Coach Mattson. Now, I do want to talk about football and your team because you're anticipated to have 15 to 20 kids on your football team. We see the numbers are going down. I know people want to work or they have to work kind of deal. Are there players that you'd like to see on your football team that you have to wait until school starts to be like, walk the halls and be like, you know what, I really need you on the team. Hey, would you consider playing defensive line for us? Hey, would you be a cornerback for us? Not quarterback, but cornerback. Do you have to walk the halls? Are you anticipating everybody that you think is going to be on the team being part of the team?
Yeah, there's always a couple that, might show up, will show up. Somebody shows up that you weren't expecting. But mostly in the summertime, we kind of know who's going to be there and who isn't going to be there. Football's a tough sport. It's hard just to show up on day one and participate. The weight training, prevents a ton of injuries and gets your body ready for a football season. So football's tough. It's a huge commitment. It's not just the 3 months in the fall. You need to put in a full year to get yourself ready. So football's tough. And if you don't want to do it, it's a tough one to talk somebody into. I can find an athlete and turn them into a basketball player or find a role for them. Sometimes football's a little tougher in that regard. But, yeah, every year there's somebody, oh, man, I wish they would have played, or, man, it was great. They came out diamond in a rough type kid and get something out of them. But, that's part of high school sports, and it is fun trying to turn kids into football players.
And it's no joke that football is literally won in the off season. And if you put the work in, if you do what you're supposed to do, you don't skip days, you don't skip weightlifting. If you show up, you should have a successful football program, because it's all about buying into the program, buying into the team. Can you tell the kids that, oh, yeah, coach, I've been working out, I've been doing that have taken the shortcuts, getting ready for a football season?
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt you can. And obviously those are the kids that get the little nicks and the little bumps and the little bruises. But, yeah, you can certainly tell. And then there's other kids who can't make weights, but you know what? They're piling wood every day of the week, and they come in and they're in great shape. So, not saying that you can't show up and do it, but you better be doing something active in the summer.
You know who I think of when you say that? Ethan Lukoski.
Absolutely.
Because he actually did our driveway last year when we got the new gravel in, and I'm like, well, he might not be in weights, but it was like a 90-degree day too,
yeah,
so he's absolutely getting a workout in.
If Ethan ever missed a session, I didn't worry about it. Didn't cause me one blink of an eye. And he was normally at the sessions anyhow. And even this summer, he's getting ready to go play at Finlandia. He shows up, or he'll give me a buzz. Hey, can I get in and whatnot? So he's getting his workouts in, and he does work hard in the summertime.
Absolutely. Matt Mattson joins us right here, Coffee with Casey, AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO from the Gallery Coffee Company in the Jamma Dots Studios on AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO, also on Rome Media Facebook and on YouTube. We'll put this on SoundCloud and Spotify in just a little bit. So take us through your schedule now, because we mentioned this earlier, you're a football coach and you're a basketball coach. You have team camps that are coming up, and you got a couple of them coming up real soon.
Yeah, my summer is not really much of a vacation. I'm in the weight room Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I kind of overlap the girls basketball and the boys football with the weights. We come in weights. We actually have two sessions. We have an 8 a.m. to 9:30 session, and then we have a 6 to 7:30 session. That way, I kind of take the work equation out of it, that they should be able to make one of those two sessions. So in the evening, I show up from 6 to 7:30 for weights, but then I also have the girls basketball come in 6:30 to 8 for open gym purposes. Now I have great assistant coaches at both football and basketball. Chris Conklin comes in and helps me with the girls basketball, and I have 5 or 6 football coaches that are almost there at every session. And Matt Paramaki, Eric Elor kind of run the weight portion of it in the building. As I said, Danny Graves, he produces all our workouts for us. And in the past, he's also been at the workouts. This summer's a little different for him than myself and Kevin Cody are also there.
Well, I tell you what, Danny Graves, outstanding man, and he helped me with the baseball team this year. And it's so valuable to have good assistant coaches to help you when you can't be there or do different team drills. So, you have offense, defense, special teams, strength and conditioning. I mean, it's important to surround yourself with great people. Danny Gray is one of those great guys that helps you out with your football team.
Yeah, my assistant coach, Chris Conklin, came. His last coaching duty was a university men's basketball program. He's now an assistant. He's what am I doing coaching girls varsity basketball in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan? I said, I don't know, but you're not going anywhere. And Danny Graves is a certified trainer. Matt Paramaki is one of the most knowledgeable guys that I know, track-wise, kinesiology, all those types of things. So my assistants are fantastic. They do a great job. And, I kind of just organize things, to be honest with you, and I let them coach, and they do a great job.
What's the difference? And you've played football for a long time. What's the difference between a head coach like a Bill Belichick that's all X and O's and like a player's coach? You always hear a player's coach. Do you see yourself as a player's coach, or like, that hard, like,
I think
Skittles.
I think it's tough. I think you need to do your own thing. I played for Terry Sane. You wouldn't put him underneath the players coaches category. And when I first started, I kind of tried to mold myself after that, but that just wasn't my style.
Right.
I wouldn't call myself a players coach. I think we're pretty disciplined and we do things the right way. But I also think kids are also always welcome to come talk to me. And then I think my school job helps that, just being the guidance counselor. They know my office is always open. They can talk to me about whatever and those types of things. So, I think I'm kind of in the middle there somewhere.
Do you have a different intensity between football and girls basketball just because of gender?
They're very different beasts to coach, to be honest with you. They're definitely different. But sometimes you have to have the kid gloves, and sometimes you have to be tough on them. My girls basketball teams know when I'm fired up. My football teams know when I'm fired up, and for the most part, I'm fairly calm. I might be loud. You'll hear me.
Well, you're
sure.
loud, yeah.
You'll hear me for sure. Most of the time, it's encouraging. If something's negative's coming out, we're going to fix it in a hurry.
Well, here's a legit question. As we talk to head coach Matt Mattson of the Munising Mustangs boys and girls, boys football team, girls basketball team. When you're sitting there and you have Charlie Nebel behind you, along with Cameron Nebel, you're coaching a game. Are you hearing their play-by-play? Because they're also very loud.
So normally I don't hear them, but I knew the COVID situation. Everybody on the radio probably heard me. That thought did cross my mind once in a while, as they're only 10 feet behind me and everybody's going to hear you. So, make sure things are coming out all right. I don't hear them very often. But
that was legit just a COVID question.
Yeah, and it was strange this year at times when there were no fans or a couple fans or just parents in the building. The gyms are very different, and we went to a JV team camp in Marquette, and it just felt good that everybody was in the gym. Teams were playing, and it did, felt like back to normal.
All right, let's get to this. Good morning, Carol Horn. Good morning, David. I always get it wrong. I don't know if it's Seacott or Sakati, but they live down coffee with Casey. I do want to ask this. Mike Prunick says the crowd knows when you're fired up.
Yeah, you're pretty much going to know about it when I'm fired up. And most of the time, like I said, I try to keep it under control. I haven't had a technical foul in a varsity basketball game my career. In Marquette, got a good look at some of the underclassmen. This week coming up, Monday through Wednesday, we'll be in Kearney with a varsity camp. And again, I'll bring some younger kids. And then the following week, we go back to a varsity camp on the weekend with Marquette. I've never been worried about winning a summer camp championship. So really, I'm going there to evaluate kids, see who wants to compete, see who's coachable, and obviously taking a look at the talent. I haven't been afraid to bring people up in the past. We'll have some underclassmen up on the varsity, I'm sure, this year, even though we do have a good group of seniors coming back and some sophomores that will help us.
Okay. I 100% honest when I ask this question, because you have team camp 5-on-5, you do all that stuff, but then you also have players on your team that play in the Gus Macker, and that's a 3-on-3. I know you want your team playing. Does Gus Macker help hurt 3-on-3? I guess talk about the Macker and parts of your team playing in this, because obviously you have only 4 people that can be on a team in a Macker. So Gus Macker help hurt the program.
Yeah, you know what? Anytime they're playing is good in my opinion.
Okay.
I've played in a lot of Gus Mackers myself. It's different. It's physical. There's a Gus Buster there, but officially not official. So there's going to be things that aren't called. It's quick turnaround offense to defense. You get a rebound, throw it back up past line, you're back. So sudden change. So
It's only half court too.
It's only half court, so there's definitely value in playing it. I do push a team camp, so the Iron Mountain Gusmacker happens to fall on the same weekend as our Marquette team camp. We had already signed up for the Marquette team camp. A couple kids wanted to do the Macker, but they're going to come to team camp. So, but yeah, there's benefits, and like I said, anytime they're playing, I'm for it. Obviously, Macker sometimes scares me just because of the physical play or on the cement. Injuries could occur, but
injuries can occur at any point.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell. I did the last Toilet Bowl championship I won. There was a big team trophy, and then everybody got T-shirts. So, if you don't know what the Gusmacker is, if you lose your first 2 games, you go into a losers pool, and they call it the Toilet Bowl. So there's another little mini tournament basically, and you can still win that. You get guaranteed 3 games in the Gusmacker. So anyhow, there is a Toilet Bowl championship, and I guess if you win the Toilet Bowl championship, you still beat somebody or a couple teams, and it's something that you did win, but obviously you didn't win your bracket.
It is what it is. I'll leave this with football. We always have the exhibition, or you always have 2 teams kind of deal. We've played Gladstone in the past up here in Munising. What can we expect? Is it Norway that's coming up here?
Norway and North Central.
Okay.
So that'll be a fantastic.
Well, we don't play either team this year in the regular season.
We don't play either team. North Central was on the schedule at one point in time, and then the conference East-West alignment changed, and they're not on our schedule. We have Ironwood instead of North Central. So that was a change. So, yeah, we don't have either one of them. I don't mind scrimmaging somebody that we do play, but obviously North Central being state champs coming in is a fantastic scrimmage. Norway is going to be very good dropping down the 8-man. So, yeah, it'll be a good scrimmage for us. It's at home. I think it's the second Friday. I'm not positive they set the date for sure.
Okay. Matt Mattson, head football coach of your Munising Mustangs, joins us right here on Coffee with Casey, AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO. We're going to take this time out. When we come back, we're going to talk some coffee from the Gallery Coffee Company in the Jaminat studio with David Pech. You're listening and watching Coffee with Casey on AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO Munising.
Alger County Communities That Care is a local organization that offers preventative programming addressing teen pregnancy, violence, delinquency, school dropout, substance abuse, depression, and suicide. We are looking for members in our community to help with many of these programs and fundraisers we offer. If you would like to get involved, please contact us at algerctc.org. Alger County United and Thriving, promoting a safe, healthy, and prosperous environment for all youth and adults.
Are you looking for an afternoon of family fun? How about a change to your date night routine? Come to Miners Falls Mini Golf to experience the fun for yourself. Explore the waterfalls and rivers while enjoying 18 holes of miniature golf. Find our latest flavors of chocolate shop ice cream by visiting our Facebook page. Open at noon daily. Visit Miners Falls Mini Golf off of M28, 2 miles east of Munising, or call 387-4653.
Putnam's Health Mart welcomes you. Your hometown pharmacy is always here for you. Customer service comes first in all we do. You're gonna find that we love serving you. At Putnam's Putman's Health Mart. Service is still our best medicine.
Putman Health Mart has been a trusted source to handle your prescriptions for over 80 years. They're always ready to help in a personal way with their experienced and well-trained pharmacy staff. Family-owned and operated. Just people serving people. 119 Elm Avenue in beautiful downtown Munising, with convenient parking at the front or rear entrance.
At Putman's Health Mart, service is still our best medicine.
The Stars and Stripes sale is going on now at Ashley Home Store. For a limited time, shop incredible 4th of July deals. Save up to 30% or pay 0% interest for up to 5 whole years. The best 4th of July furniture deals are only available at America's #1 furniture and mattress store, Ashley Home Store. So hurry in or visit Ashley Home Store in Marquette and Escanaba today. Ashley Home Store. This is home.
Feels good to be home.
Back on Coffee with Casey, AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO from the Jamadot Studios here in beautiful Gallery Coffee Company. Open this weekend if you're listening to us on the replay on Saturday from 7 a.m. until 2 p.m. And we welcome in one of the men that provides us the coffee. And the other one pours us the coffee and roasts the coffee. But David Pech joins us right here on Coffee with Casey, AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO. And let's get into this because there's not a lot of coffee people here in the Upper Peninsula. Like, you just can't go into like my garden and get coffee or make coffee and grow coffee. So, David, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Casey.
Take us through your coffee. Like, how do you get involved in coffee?
Well, you when I was in high school, you told me I was be a coffee farmer. I would have just laughed at you and looked, what? But I actually married into coffee. My wife, Leah Ruiz, traveled to the United States, and I met her actually in our church. She was studying English in Baldwin Wallace University in Cleveland, Ohio. And my mom always told me I'd find my wife in church, but I didn't know I had to bring her 3,500 miles to make it happen.
So you are in Cleveland. How do you get involved in going down to like Panama? Because that is not close at all.
No, well, it's a lot closer than you think. It's actually less than flying to Seattle.
Okay.
Miami's halfway, so it's 2.5 hours to Miami, and it's due south of Miami, and we're in Eastern Standard Time down there.
Okay.
So it's not that far compared to going to Europe or even to Seattle is farther.
How far is Seattle? Like 3.5, 4 hours?
No, from Cleveland,
I'm thinking from Munising, but yeah. But you'd have to fly to Detroit or Minneapolis to get there.
Yeah, so I get down to Panama in about 5.5 hours, 6 hours.
All right, David Pech joins us right here. Coffee with Casey, AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO. So what age did you start going down to Panama?
We raised our family in Cleveland.
Yeah.
My wife's family were the largest exporters of coffee in Panama.
Okay.
So they had a very large industry going on down there. Since that, my father-in-law has passed away and things have changed down there. But at that point, they were the largest. But we stayed up here. My wife started an import-export business, bringing the coffee up to the States. It's available online. She does it that way. But so we raised the kids in Cleveland, and then we had purchased a farm down there during that time period back in the early 90s before the crazy real estate boom down there. And so we had a 24 hectares would be 48, almost 50 acres farm down there on the volcano Baru. So I actually live on a volcano down there. So
is it active?
No, it's not active. Yeah, we're dodging rocks as they're coming down.
David Pech joins us right here on Coffee with Casey, AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO. Also on Facebook Live on the Row Media Facebook page and on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and just search for Coffee with Casey Munising or Row Media Munising, you can find us on YouTube, also part of SoundCloud and Spotify. So where does the Damarli name come from?
Actually, the name is an acronym. And it was started off because when we bought the farm, my parents and my wife and I invested in it. So DA stands for David, MA stands for Manfred, R for Ruth, my mother, LI for Leah, my wife. So that's where the name came from.
That's very interesting, very creative and clever as well. Yeah. I feel like I should do like a bank account with that or something like that. So nobody,
it's already taken. Guy? It's already taken.
Right. Absolutely. So we have pictures, and I know Bryce and I are going to, when I say Bryce is going to do this because I'm not going to do this. Yeah. He's the producer of the show. Right now, what we're looking at, I believe, is this the farm? Like, what are we harvesting like right here when you see all the brown and then over to the left, you have like some red? Like, what is this?
Okay. So there's a number of different ways we process coffee in Panama.
Okay.
The typical way that most people drink coffee is a washed coffee. So it's a coffee that gets peeled right away and then slightly fermented to take off the sugars on the outside of the coffee, and then it's dried. The process that you're seeing here on the beds is the traditional way of producing coffee, and they got away from it in the industry because wash is a lot quicker and easier. This is drying as a natural. So we take the coffee, and I believe that shot is a washed coffee on the beds because of the lighter color of the coffees. So we peeled that coffee and we're just drying it on the beds instead of mechanical dryers or putting it on cement. But we have 24 of these beds. They're 40 feet by 5 foot long, and we put our coffees on it. So this is the small amount of coffee that we do. I think he has another slide later on showing the naturals where it looks a little more reddish brownish on there, and that's partially dried fruit. So it looks like a cherry when you pick it. Red like a cherry. So that's, we're
actually looking at this right now where you have the red on the right, and then it looks like brown beans on the left.
Yeah. Okay. So the browner beans it's about a week and a half, 2 weeks later after it's been sitting in the sun drying.
Okay.
And the red, you see the workers, that's just post harvest. They are actually sorting through each of the beans, and we have a program there we call Solo Rojo, which is only red. So they have to go through and hand sort what they've already picked off the trees, because where it's connected to the stem, the cherry coffee, when you peel it off, it might not be all fully ripe on the bottom.
Okay.
And so it's a yellow greenish. We want it all red for our purposes. So then we dry that coffee, and it's like a raisin. It just shrivels up and it encapsulates the bean. And if you ever see a coffee bean, most people haven't seen it. It's actually two halves. So you two flat sides, and then you have a round outsides. So there's actually two beans inside of each cherry.
So much stuff I don't know about coffee. I just don't. Let's talk about more of this, because you talk about drying and having the harvest. Do you have to worry about rain? Does it not rain a lot down there while you're doing this? Obviously, weather's normally a factor.
Correct. We live Boqueta, which is where we have the coffee, Boqueta, Panama. We live on the side of a volcano. During the coffee drying, during the harvest season, the weather shifts. So we, instead of getting weather coming in from the Pacific, which is about 40 miles down below us, it actually the winds switch from the north. And so the winds come over the Gulf, and it literally dries up in our region. So higher up in the mountains, back in towards more the Atlantic, the rain is still falling. You get this mist, and they call it bajareque, and it's a mist, and it forms all sorts of beautiful rainbows. But by the time that mist gets over to around the side of the volcano, it actually dries up. So I have like the driest location during that time of the period of the year for drying the coffee. So we put the coffee in the beds, and we have to watch out a little bit for this mist in the evenings. And we have plastic sheets that we pull over the top of the coffee, and then we just open it up again in the morning. So I literally go down there for 3 months with 60 at night, 75 during the day, gorgeous weather, no rain. And it's absolutely perfect.
Back to you, Ken. Sounds like a weather forecast on a news station, but no, that's super interesting. I mean, we put sheets out there for prevent frost and things like
Correct,
that.
Yeah.
And you're doing it to prevent mist, because you can't get these beans wet, or it's very detrimental if you get the beans
Correct.
wet. So let's talk. We talked about being from Cleveland. You go to Panama, but you also live here in the Upper Peninsula for a couple months out of the year. How did you find a place up here?
Well, I actually came here all my life as a young kid. We'd come up here on vacations. My great uncle, which would be my grandmother's brother, lived up here in Munising and up in Wetmore, actually.
Okay.
And his first wife died. He married Alma Peterson. And there are a lot of they used to own the cabins up here on the lakefront here. Well, they also owned a little hunting cabin out on Lost Lake. And so we purchased that from them, probably 25 years ago, and rebuilt that and have a new summer home on the lake there. And so we come up here.
And I first met you last year when
Right.
you were up here in the middle of the quote unquote pandemic that we were having. That's when I first met you up here. And how did you get involved with David Bowerman and Gallery Coffee Company?
Well, it's sort of like shock selling. We just walked into the coffee shop and said, they have a coffee shop here. I'm going to go in and see if they have interest in coffee. And they were like, wow, you're from Munising area? Well, sort of. Yeah, we come up here for basically 2 months of the summer and been here all the time. And it's like, and you have a coffee farm? Yeah. And so we made up a friendship and still enticing Dave to come down and visit us in Panama. And I think that's going to happen this year because it was going to happen.
Josie actually says that they can't wait to come down this year for the harvest.
And we'll host them at our Airbnb that we have on the farm. And people, they'll come down and visit us there. So
we have, let's see here. Dean Halifax, enjoying a cup of coffee, now watching your program. So thank you. Appreciate that. With so much coffee that's around here at Gallery Coffee Company, have you had that perfect cup of coffee? Can you tell if something's been roasted for like 30 seconds longer or taken out like 30 seconds earlier than what it should have been?
If you're wanting a certain cup profile, yes, you can. If you have it a little longer, a little less, it creates nuances in the coffee, and there's taste profiles that you're looking for. So 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds, it makes a huge difference in not a huge difference, but it makes a difference in a trained cup palette when you're cupping it. But the people ask me, what's the best coffee? And the coffee is the best coffee is the coffee that you like.
Yes, it is. And I do appreciate that because I drink the house coffee. I don't even know what it is, but I drink the house coffee all the time because it's good.
It's right there.
In fact, I have it in this and I have it in this. I drink a lot of coffee per day. Do you have a specific flavor that you like? Or do you go back and forth?
Typically, I don't go by a flavor. We separate our coffees by varietal.
Okay.
So there are different varietals: Bourbon, Typica, Caturra, Catuai. So we have different varietals. The hot one right now, especially in the Asian market, is Geisha.
Okay.
And that's almost a tea-like. So when you drink it, you're like, am I drinking coffee or am I drinking tea? So, and some people will actually just love it here. And then most of the people are like, well, yeah, it's good, but I won't pay that amount for it.
David Pech joins us right here. Coffee with Casey, AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO. Also on Facebook Live and on our YouTube channel. Best of Panama. It's a competition. Happens yearly.
Yes.
What is that?
The BOP, we use the acronym, the letters there for it is BOP, and Best of Panama. And that's where the top producers, most of producers there in the Boquete Volcan region around the volcano, bring their coffees in for competition. And has different categories. There's a geisha category, washed and naturals, and then there's a traditionals, washed and naturals this year. And so that competition happened. Our coffees just got cup less yesterday, day before, in that competition. That competition then is judged by the national judges, and then they send out the top coffees to international judges, which then roast it, and then they cup their own coffees, and they produce a score on that coffee, and then it is the top of those coffees, the winners of those go into the top auctions in Panama. So the BOP ends up in an auction. And last year we came in second place. The year before we got first place in our Pacamaras, which is a varietal, sort of like Macintosh Red Delicious in apples. The varietals that you have in coffee is we had a Pacamara, which is a real large bean. And that we got $40 a pound in the auction. Well, the geisha is like way beyond that. It was over $1,200 a pound green that they sold it for. And that's 100 pound, 2 boxes, 50 pounds each.
Wow.
And they sold it for $1,200 a pound.
Now, obviously, this has to do with workers too. I'm assuming you have to have a lot of workers doing this. Talk about your workers and the people that do this.
Okay, so we have individuals that come in from the neighboring province, and they are the Nobe Indians. So they are the traditional. They were there before the Spanish got there. They lived there. That's actually part of their main income is coming in during the harvest season, and the harvest is 3 months. So they actually come and live on our farms. We have somewhere between 25 and 30 adults that we house in barracks on the farm, and they bring their kids. So we sometimes have 25 kids there also. So I have this huge group of people there that we care for. Got to make sure we have water and showers and different things. They don't have cars. They use public transportation, buses, and then they carry their stuff up in bags to the farm. No suitcases or anything. It's like they still cook on 3 stones.
Wow.
So it's a very simple society that they live in, but they have no expenses there on the farm. They just cash in on the coffee.
Liz wants to know, do you ever do pea berry coffee?
Yes, pea berry is a slightly different bean, and it's an intermixed coffee. That is a coffee that in the cherry, there's only one bean inside of it. So it actually comes out as a oval, round, not more of an oval, like egg-shaped out of the bean. And there's just one of them inside instead of the traditional 2. So yes, and that's actually a sorting process after the coffee's harvested that we sort and do density sorting and size sorting. And those pea berries fall out. And so those are separated and those that can be sold separately.
All right. This portion of Coffee Casey brought to you in part by Pictured Rocks Golf Course. Enjoy their Friday night fish fry. Get it grilled or blackened, or, go out and just enjoy the fish that they have there on Friday night at Pictured Rocks Golf Course up on H58. David, anything else you'd like to add before we get you out of here?
I'm good. Thank you so very much. I really enjoyed being able to share our coffee experience with us.
And we enjoy experiencing your coffee here at Gallery Coffee Company. We'll take this time out. When we come back, we'll have Mary Jayne Hallifax, who is a local legend when it comes to photography as well. You talked about being a photographer. We'll talk to her about photography as she worked for the Munising News for so many years. We'll talk about that and just photography through the generations. You are watching Coffee with Casey on Facebook Live and on our YouTube page, and listening on AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO Munising.
Experience the freshest whitefish around with the original wild whitefish sandwich or basket from A-Burger. A-Burger works with Van Landschutz & Sons to provide you a crispy fish sandwich with American cheese and pickles on a toasted bun. Or order the wild whitefish basket that comes with coleslaw, tartar sauce, and fries. You can pair your meal with a fountain drink or beer. A-Burger is open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., located at the only stoplight in Munising.
Tracy's Restaurant inside Roman in Munising is now open 6 nights a week. Come try our new approach to dining, a small plates culinary journey you won't forget. Enjoy small plates from cheese curds to baby wedge salads, to large entrees like surf and turf for 2, a collection of quality beef, lobster, shrimp, and bluegill. And top off your experience with our large selection of wine, premium whiskey, and new tap featuring local craft beer. Open Monday through Saturday from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Call 387-8000 for reservations.
Do you want to know how good Happy tastes? The Munising Dairy Queen is going to have you cookie lovers fall in love with this. It's the new Nestle Toll House Chocolate Chip Cookie Blizzard Treat with soft-baked Nestle Toll House cookies mixed in world-famous DQ Soft Serve. And it's only at the Dairy Queen store. Stop by Dairy Queen at 221 West Munising Avenue and get the new Nestle Toll House Chocolate Chip Cookie Blizzard Treat, because Happy tastes good.
Hey, did you get the new chicken Uber pasty from Miner's Pasties yet?
No, I didn't. Does it have the taters?
Yep.
Does it have the rutabaga?
Of course.
Does it have the onions and the carrots?
Yep, those two. It's a true Uber pasty from Miner's with all the right fillings and that perfect flaky crust.
That sounds great. How do I get one?
The same as always, down at Miner's Pasties, open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 201 West Munising Avenue in Munising.
This is the Ashley Home Store in Marquette and Escanaba Munising Minute, powered by Rome Media. A number of recreational activities are available this weekend across the Upper Peninsula, including the Ben Lauren Livestock Show at the Alger County Fairgrounds. The show this year is set for a massive expansion from its initial show last year, created as a way to help kids from the Marquette and Alger County areas to showcase livestock projects despite the pandemic cancellations. This year's show is open to all residency areas in the UP, making this one of the biggest competitions of its kind outside the county and UP state fairs. Hogs and lambs are today, steer and goats are tomorrow. The show is named after the Forsyth Township firefighter who lost his life battling a house fire in 2020. The Mackinac Bridge Authority is looking to reinstate its driver assistance program, which helps provide a driver for those that might feel unsafe driving their personal vehicles crossing the bridge. That will be discussed today at the board's meeting starting at 9 a.m. after continuing discussion within the authority yesterday. The Munising Minute is brought to you by Ashley Home Store in Marquette and Escanaba. The Stars and Stripes sale at Ashley Furniture Home Store is going on right now. Save up to 30% off or get up to 6 years financing, plus get expert room design consultation from one of our interior designers at local, family-owned Ashley Home Store in Marquette and Escanaba. For Rome Media, I am Bryce Burge.
The Stars and Stripes sale is going on now at Ashley Home Store. For a limited time, shop incredible 4th of July deals. Save up to 30% or pay 0% interest for up to 5 whole years. The Stars and Stripes sale is going on now at Ashley Home Store. For a limited time, shop incredible 4th of July deals. Save up to 30% or pay 0% interest for up to 5 whole years. The best 4th of July furniture deals are only available at America's #1 furniture and mattress store, Ashley Home Store. So hurry in or visit Ashley Home Store in Marquette and Escanaba today. Ashley Home Store. This is home.
Feels good to be home.
Back on Coffee with Casey, AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO from the Jamadot Studios inside Gallery Coffee Company. Come get yourself a nice hot cup of coffee, which Mary Jayne's going to have here shortly on AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO, also on the Rome Media Facebook page and on the YouTube page when you search for Rome Media. That's ROAM Media in Munising, and you can watch this on YouTube on a playback. You can watch this on a playback on Facebook Live. We have Mary Jayne Hallifax joining us, and a lot of people in Munising know who she is because she is the photographer for the Munising News for many, many years, as we like to think. Angus, that will be hot, just to let you know right off the get-go, as Mary Jayne's going to get her cup of coffee in shortly. But welcome to Coffee with Casey. And first and foremost, I'd like to thank you for coming on. Second of all, I'd like to thank you because you took the only 2 photographs of Bryce and I in that parade that we could see because we're busy filming and broadcasting. We didn't get a chance to see ourselves. You know what I saw? I need to lose more weight.
You saw what?
That I need to lose more weight.
Oh, I see. I see. Uh-huh.
Yes. So how are you? Welcome. And what are you up to these days?
I'm still enjoying life and taking pictures. About 5 or 6 years ago, I sent a few pictures to the Munising News on a whim that I thought they might not have covered this today. And Virginia Coda, who worked there, put it together and put all about town with Mary Jayne Hallifax. And I thought, oh my goodness. And that kind of continued on. And then I had them discontinue the Halifax part. It didn't rhyme. It was just too long. And so that's been an ongoing thing, about 3 pictures each week until they closed. And then the Mining Journal picked it up. And it's just fun catching people unawares sometimes. And I'm 92 years old, but my mind is still fairly much there. My legs aren't so good. A lot of my pictures are taken from the car window, and people are not very aware of that. Wonderful zoom lenses nowadays, and so it's fun.
Now, you've been in photography almost all your life. How have you seen that evolve? How do you keep up with the technology and the cameras and everything that takes place from when you started till now?
Well, that was humorous in as much as when they first came out with digital, of course, I'm a film person, and we spent years in the darkroom developing film and then printing, and then you had a picture to take to the newspaper, or you had something newsworthy. Nowadays with digital, I'm almost not angry, but I think people had no idea how easy it is to just pick up a camera, shoot away, and they've got a product. And anyway, in about, I don't know, maybe the 1980s, I was taking a wedding, and somebody was always shooting over your shoulder. And you tried to not let them do that because, of course, then the sale of your reprints went out the window. But here's this young man holding the camera up about a foot or two from his eye. And I thought, how stupid can you get? You've got to have a camera up to your eye, any viewer. And then after the procedures, I went up to him and asked him, what's going on here? He said, this is a digital camera. I'd never heard of such thing. And well, that's where things started. Now with digital, I mean, even children, you pick one up, it focuses, it exposes. Anyway, it's a whole different realm.
Now, do you like camera phones?
No.
You don't use them?
No. And that's another thing. It's totally unfair. It'd be very difficult to be a professional photographer nowadays, simply because there's somebody, you never can get a scoop.
Right.
And that was the joy of being a professional photographer. You were the only one there when an accident occurred. There was no one within a mile that could get the same picture you got.
Right.
That was wonderful.
Unless dumb luck happened and you just happened to be right there.
Yes, and it did happen. I guess that's why I'm enjoying my All About Town, because you can not sneak. You try to be proper and so on. But I mean, you can get pictures that you certainly could never have done years ago. But, yeah, the joy of getting a scoop was wonderful.
Mary Jayne Hallifax joins us right here on Coffee with Casey, AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO from the Jamadot Studios and Gallery Coffee Company. You graduated in 1946.
Correct.
You had your own photography company until the mid-70s or so. You got out of it for a little bit, but you're a professional photographer. What was it like when you had your own photography? You got out of it. Did it pass you by at all? Did you have to relearn anything?
Oh, no. It just by getting out of it meant you were out of looking for jobs. People, until by even 10 years ago, the telephone company ad, your ad would go on for years. You never had paid a bill. I mean, they just seemed to. Mary Jayne's Photos was listed until maybe 5 years ago. And I'd get an occasional call. Are you still doing graduation pictures or something? No, but thank you for thinking of me. And I did have people up to now even will stop me occasionally and tell me a tear-jerking story about Grandpa just died, and we were going through the cupboards and the dresser drawers, and we came across all these professional pictures that you took through the years of family gatherings and so on, and telling me how precious they are. That warms the cockles of my heart. It truly does.
I have to ask, because most people, and I don't think most people know, but you didn't get paid from Munising News.
Oh, no, I didn't want pay, heavens. But I did get the weekly paper. And so then when the Mining Journal approached me, I did it for a couple weeks. And then I thought, gee, I may as well get a subscription. So I called them and suggested, oh, well, of course, we didn't even think of it, So now I'm used to the daily paper.
Now, why didn't you want pay? Why is it important for you not to get paid?
Oh, heavens, at my age, for instance. But no, I mean, this is just something I do. People are, well, I've lost so many friends. Of course, everyone has this last year. And there's not too many left in my age group. We appreciate each other. And if it's taking pictures or, because I get an awful lot of people that will meet me on the street and say, we really look forward to that paper every week.
I have to throw this out there too. And I feel like photography and media are lumped in together, because in media, the evolution of Facebook and Twitter, and when you have Instagram and TikTok, it seems like everybody wants to be a media member, but they don't want to work the hours. They just want to do it on their time. Photography, kind of the same thing, because with media, you have to worry about people copywriting and stealing your stuff. Photography is kind of the same thing. Have you ever run into a case where someone said, "Oh, this is my photo," but it was really your photo?
Well,
I call it stealing of photos.
No, I know. Sharing.
Sharing. Well, the problem is a lot of people don't share. They hit copy paste.
Well,
and then they won't give you credit for it.
Yeah. Well, my opinion, and it may be wrong or not, to me, Facebook, I'm not on those others. That's superficial. That's for young people. But Facebook, to me, it's people's opinions.
Correct.
Not fact. That is what irritates me a great deal. You read, everybody's got to get an opinion in on this particular subject, and they know nothing about that subject. And, you have to hold yourself back sometime, or else write it and then delete it.
Yes.
I'm sure we've all done.
Don't press send. But you've never had anybody that try to pass one of their photos off as yours?
Well, jokingly, now Jack Deo is a good friend of mine in Marquette. I don't know if you know Jack, but he used to have Superior View photos for umpteen years. He's Mr. Photography in Marquette, as far as he loved accumulating old cameras. I sold him different old cameras. But when I went out of business, I said, I want to give him the negatives that I have of all the stuff that I took, like not particularly for the Munising News, just for the news, that were not personal things. Now, not your family portraits, but a picture of a wreck on that corner, and so on. So I gave Jack all those negatives with the idea he can do with them what he wants to do, which he doesn't sell them. I mean, they don't have any monetary value. They just have, well, for instance, now at the Pictured Rock shop and maybe some other shops, they're for sale, the Old Town pictures, and it tells on the back that they're by Mary Jayne Hallifax, and I think they sell them for $10. Anyway, last week's Mining Journal, my daughter doesn't even know this. When I was reading the paper the other day, I'm going through the pages, and there was another picture on the bottom of a page of Superior Land, and it's from Jack. And it just said from Superior Land Photos, but it was taken in Munising on such and such a date after a flood. And I know it's my picture. He usually gives me a byline when he gives it to them. But this one, I think the Mining Journal just picked it out of his repertoire.
Okay.
And so if Jack comes down to Autrain fishing one of these days, he's a fisherman. I'll just have to. Was that my picture?
Mary Jayne Hallifax joins us right here, AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO from the Jaminat Studios and Gallery Coffee Company. This portion of Coffee with Casey brought to you in part by Miners Falls Mini Golf. They are open from noon until 10 daily. Get yourself 18 holes and ice cream. Who doesn't like ice cream?
Chocolate.
There you go. At Miners Falls Mini Golf up on M28, just before you get to the Wetmore Hill there. So I do want to ask this have a couple of things. Do you miss the darkroom in developing printing?
Not particularly. As I mentioned, we did spend years in the darkroom. Now, my husband was a funeral director here. He had half of the Barman Halifax Funeral Home for 25 years. In order to help me in the photography, he went to New York Institute for several months in New York, of course, and took classes. And so he kind of took over the film developing, and I did all the printing and enlarging, and he did some of the press work, so I could take time to have children. And and I did all the printing and all the color work. But no, Benny, now I'd have to lock the door of the dark room because the children might come running down. Mommy, so-and-so hit me. Don't open that door.
You mean that happened way back then too?
Oh, yes. and the first roll of film I ever developed, I was learning from a lady that was secretary up at school. And I was probably a junior or a senior. And of course, the room has to be pitch dark and then maybe a safe light on. And the film first developing, I just had trays, no tank, and you would do it up and down in the chemicals, but the room had to be dark. But I could not wait that evening in my basement. There was one window. I just thought, it's dark enough. It's dark enough. Well, I did develop it, and of course it wasn't dark enough. That film went all black. That was the first learning curve. But I do wish I demobiled, or I took apart my darkroom maybe 20 years ago. And I wish I hadn't, in a way, because I'd like to have taken my grandsons in and shown them the magic, because it was magic.
Let me ask you this, and this will be the last question before we get you out of here. Did you ever push your kids to photography, take them out, try to get them to be professional photographers? How many kids do you have?
I have 4 kids.
Okay.
And actually the oldest is a boy, and the other 3 are the girls. Dean did go into somewhat. He transposed all these 8mm movies and slides and so on onto other mediums. As far as going out and taking pictures, no. The one that lives here now, my daughter Janine, is retired from nursing, and she's pretty much my caregiver off and on. I mean, she's in and out every day, and she's very good. She's got natural how to compose and so on, but as far as business or whatever, no. Okay. But you either love photography.
Favorite picture? What's your favorite picture that you've ever taken?
Oh, well.
And it could be graduations. It could be of an accident or something.
Yeah,
I
actually, one of my favorites, and it's so nowadays it would be nothing. Okay, these men with all the beards.
Yes.
This year, of course, it's a totally different culture and for a different reason. But in 50 years ago, there was one man in town, lived on St. Martin's Hill, and he was all around town, walking and so on, and unkept looking somewhat, and he had a wonderful beard. And so one day downtown, I said, I would love to take your portrait, and just get him in the studio, because in those days everything was formal portraits. And lo and behold, one noon he turned up, and there he was. He had put on a nice jacket. He was looking too nice, but he was spiffied up too much. So I invited him in, and I told my husband, would you go upstairs and get one of your dark jackets or something? We can just kind of cover up this pretty shirt and so on. So subtly, that's what we did. And I took some portraits of him with smoking his pipe, and there's a lot of smoke. And I did win a prize at the fair in Escanaba. And that was always rather special at the time. Nowadays, beards are a dime a dozen, and there's some beautiful ones out there that I would love to drag them in and get a portrait.
Ricky Bowerman has the best one at Bowerman Funeral Home.
He has. Yes, I saw that recently,
yes.
And I was amazed. I thought, is that Rick? It was. I swear. Anyway, yeah, I should call him up one of these days.
Mary Jayne Hallifax joins us right here. Coffee with Casey, AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO. We'll take our final timeout, come back, finish the show right after this.
When it's time for you to tackle a home project, you go to 41 Lumber, because 41 Lumber has the best products, so your projects will last. Every kind of home project, you name it, 41 Lumber has it. And 41 Lumber has the experience to help you with any questions you have along the way. 41 Lumber even offers complete home and project design services. Your projects start at 41 Lumber, with better products for better results. 41 Lumber, building your dreams one project at a time.
As you're on your way out of town this camping season, make sure to stop at Hillside Party Store East. We have all your camping gear. We also sell live bait, fire starters, and boiled peanuts. Hillside Party Store East is also your home for Case Country Farms, including bacons, brats, brat dogs, breakfast sausage, chorizo, Italian, pork chops, pork steaks, and ham steaks. Hillside Party Store East, located between Connors and Hilltop Road.
As things slowly get back to normal in the Upper Peninsula, the employees at Embers Credit Union are here, ready to serve you. Our frontline staff is ready to safely handle cash and checks and answer questions you have about your account. Our loan team is ready to help out with new or existing loans in person, on the phone, or through email. Our commercial team is ready to assist you with your business loan and the Payment Protection Program. We are always ready to take members to the next level. We're Embers Credit Union. Let's live it up.
Thinking about upgrading the bedroom carpet or the floor in your home? Now is the perfect time to get a quote from Flynn's Flooring in Wetmore. Flynn's Flooring is locally owned to give you the personal attention you deserve, from carpet to hardwood, or maybe even a vinyl or tile floor. Flynn's Flooring will sit down and go over options with you. So, what are you waiting for? Call and set up an appointment with Flynn's Flooring today at 387-1993.
Get your tacos reimagined at Taco Potamus on H58 in Munising. Try some of Javier's favorite tacos, which includes the Whitefish Happy Hippo Taco. Or try Javier's Love Machine, which features baby shrimp. Or snack on a churro donut. Taco Potamus is Munising's reimagined taco truck located at Hillside Party Store East, open at 11 a.m. daily.
Back to Finish Coffee with Casey right here on AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO. I'd like to thank everybody that's a part of Coffee with Casey, especially Matt Mattson for coming in today, along with David Pech and, of course, Mary Jayne Hallifax. The Stars and Stripes sale is going on right now at Ashley Furniture Home Store in Marquette and Escanaba. Save up to 30% or get the 6 years financing plus expert room design consultation from one of our interior designers at local family-owned Ashley Home Stores in Marquette and Escanaba. Hope you all have a great weekend. Supposed to be in the 70s, into the 70s all week. If you can get out, play some golf, go out there and do one of the many community events that's taking place this weekend. Go out, have fun, enjoy yourself. I know it's been a short but long week with the 4th of July. For Bryce Burge, executive producer, along with Angus Horn, I'm Casey Ford. Thank you for watching Coffee with Casey right here on the Rome Media Facebook page and on the YouTube channel, along with listening to us on AM 1400, 97.7 WQXO Munising.